This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Youth at Risk Lessons Learned Towards a Trauma-Informed Community, the theme of this morning's symposium, hosted by the Crisis Center in partnership with the National Child Protection Council. Bringing opening remarks, Social Services Minister Frankie Campbell reminded participants that trauma is no stranger to many, which is why help is so important.
Each of us has at some time or another experienced unfortunate situations, and trauma is a normal reaction. However, when the effects are so severe that they interfere with a person's ability to live a normal life, professional help is needed to restore the state of emotional well-being.
The minister asserts that a trauma-informed community must begin with stakeholders who should be aware of and able to identify factors that trigger trauma in at-risk youth, as many fall into this category.
Rape, domestic violence, bullying, emotional abuse, physical abuse, community violence, the death of a loved one, or just witnessing an act of violence. And with that short but not exhaustive list, it's safe to say that the entire generation of young people could be at risk, because the entire generation have been exposed to one or more of these things.
Minister Campbell left the group with this.
If you take nothing else from this today, take responsibility for the fact that these are all of our children. The very one you look at and scorn at and look at with disdain is the very one who may bring harm to your good, well-educated child. Or that may be the very one your good, educated child bring home and trouble down there. So either way, you have a responsibility.
The one-day symposium took place at the National Training Agency, Gladstone Road. And if you're importing meat for personal consumption, you're reminded that the limit is 50 pounds, and you must have a bona fide invoice from a reputable distributor signifying that it is fit to eat. Further, the party or person importing it must take responsibility for his or her packaged cooler bag. If, however, you're importing meat for large-scale events like fundraisers, weddings, funerals, it's a must you have your invoice along with an import permit, meat certificate, and event notice. Furthermore, only 10 cases of meat is allowed in this case. In the case of commercial import, you'll need a certificate of good standing, an import permit, meat certificate, and the invoice. Repairs to the Grand Lucayan Resort pegged at $3 million and are expected to begin before year's end. So says Minister of State for Grand Bahama Kwesi Thompson, who says the repairs include Lighthouse Point, the Convention Center, the roof of Breakers Key, as well as the report's central air-conditioned system. This as the property's retail area and the exterior of its casino undergo cosmetic renovations. You would recall the government this past summer bought the hurricane-battered hotel for $65 million in hopes of getting it off its hands as soon as possible. An initial deposit of $10 million was made, and in September a resolution was passed in Parliament paving the way for $35 million to be borrowed. Since then, the government claims there have been a number of potential buyers. Tourism Minister Dionisio Diagler recently revealed that 11 to 12 of them have signed the non-disclosure agreement for more information about the Grand Bahama property. In the meantime, efforts are being made to promote the resort to generate additional room occupancy. For instance, Bahamas Air intends to deliver a 737-800 series jet aircraft with a capacity of 140 seats in spring 2019. Our final story is up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.